Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Shark Sports Wrap here at 6:40 a.m. Tony Segreto with you, as we are every Saturday morning. We have lots to talk about today as we talk about the NSU sports program here at Nova Southeastern University, and we have a lot to talk about because we have 4 teams that are vying for a national championship, both men's and women's golf, men's baseball in the Sunshine State Conference, in the regionals, I should say, and we have Mary Ellington and Sarah Patterson here from the women's rowing team. They are getting ready to go to the nationals. What a year you have had, and I have to tell you, it has been such a delight to talk with you and your rowers this entire season. You're so blessed with an incredible team of girls who have not only performed in the water, but have just been a wonderful example of the true word of student athlete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed. They have.
It's been a great year for you. So
far, so good, and we are in the home stretch. So just 10 days left, and everyone's focusing in on that final prize. That was a little bit tough to get everybody talking about vying for a national championship. I think that the team has represented at nationals before, but never really put it in their own the fact that they could go for it, that they could actually challenge the 7-time defending national champs.
Coaches talk about buy-in, especially we've talked with Leanne Freeland, who was a first-year basketball coach and had to come in with a new culture. Amanda Brown is taking over the women's golf, had to come in, and talk about her culture, how she wanted the women to play golf. You come in the same way. A new coach, you had to develop a new culture, you had to develop your style. And we talk about buy-in, and one thing from what I've gathered is all 32 of your women have bought in 1,000,000,000%.
Have they? I think it's hard, to buy in every single day, every minute of every day, and especially when you're developing and learning a lot about yourself and what it means to set goals and really how lofty and challenging those goals are. So as far as buying in, I think that it took a little bit of work to get people on the same page as far as here are the elements I think are important for even having an option to go and do what they've done. And so getting it to be from my words to them buying in and making them their words and really owning them, that's taken a lot of work, and it really does take a lot of shift and changing habits and mindset. But I think that the women have done a good job of being fearless in the attempt to try that, at least to try, and then you can buy in once you start believing.
Fearless, that's a key component. Before we bring in Sarah, tell me about Sarah Patterson, a junior from Orlando. She sits in the stroke seat in the 4-boat. Tell me about her strengths, and tell me about what we can expect as you get ready to go to the NCAAs with the 2 boats that we have, the 8 and the 4.
Well, Sarah's kind of sneaky. She is very unassuming.
Well, I would think I've known her for 30 seconds, and she comes in here bounding full of energy.
Oh, lots of energy. And when I say it's unassuming, I think that until you get to know her, and you'll hear in a moment, real sweet voice, really just a nice. I don't think I've ever seen her ever be mean to one person. I don't think that she has a crossword in her vocabulary. I might be wrong, but when she gets an oar in her hands, she takes no prisoners. She is very unassuming. Her stature is that of a lightweight rower, and I think Sarah's from Winter Park. Would you say Winter Park, not Orlando?
Yeah, Winter Park.
Winter Park, and she rowed in high school as a good team, a really good team, and has really stuck it out in a sport that I've said many times is. You're benefited by the more leverage you have, the either longer lever or a little bit more weight to put against that lever. And Sarah, in that way, is she's a little smaller in stature, and you don't discount her. If I was seat racing against her, that would be something I would be more perked up against Sarah than I would somebody twice my size. She'd be pretty big.
Yeah, Sarah, you don't fit the what you think of the profile of a rower in terms of size. But first of all, welcome to the show. And you've Winter Park, you're one of the few rowers that I've spoken with that came here as a rower. We've talked to volleyball players, swimmers, all these different athletes who have come here and taken up rowing. So give me a sense of how you got into rowing and then your transgression in here to Nova Southeastern.
Well, my freshman year of high school, one of my friends, they were actually doing a freshman orientation for rowing, and I always kind of wanted to be part of a team, and rowing looked conceptually easy. Like, something I could handle because I'm not very hand-eye coordinated. You kind of just sit the whole time and kind of move the oar back and forth, so it looked kind of easy.
Yeah, it seemed reasonable.
Yeah. And so when I started it, everyone was like, yeah, like if you're gonna be part of a family, like rowing is bigger than just you, like we come together as a whole, and I really liked that. Like that spoke to me as like a freshman. You don't really know what's going on in high school, and so I just kind of went with it, and I finally found like my place and my calling, and like I made so many new friends, and then once senior year was coming up, I knew I wanted to continue into college.
Well, so conceptually, hey, you're sitting in the boat and you're rowing and you're listening to the song, right? Row, 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 right? That's how you got into it. But it's not that way at all. So from what the concept, what the perceived concept was to the reality, give me that sense of that growth process.
Let's see,
How long did it take you to realize it wasn't the concept?
Oh, very quickly. I didn't know the seat moved when I first got in the boat. Thought it was just all arms, and my coach was like, "No, you gotta move your legs too." Okay. And then I don't know, it kind of clicked. I guess my sophomore year, I was kind of getting better, and you can just like, you don't think you're much until you like get in the boat or get on the erg, and you're like, I can be so much more than myself right now. Like, I may be tiny, but I can beat girls who are bigger than me, and they're like, where'd that come from?
Well, you know what I find interesting? She says that she wasn't terribly hand-eye coordinated, but in order to be successful in the boat, you have to be extremely coordinated, I think, to be able to get that rhythm, to be able to coordinate your strength. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think you'd have to be.
You have to have some body awareness,
yeah.
But you don't have to catch anything that's flying at an unknown velocity.
Unless the fish comes out as you're...
I don't do that.
No, and so, and it doesn't, she sounds like a gymnast, right?
Yeah, she does,
She's
yeah.
a sweet voice,
Yeah.
and actually, I mean, Sarah does fit sort of the mold, and a lot of my really successful lightweight rowers in the past have been a former gymnast, and gymnasts have incredible discipline. They tend to be really coordinated because it's their bodies flying through the air. But with rowers, often you'll find an athlete who, dodges when the basketball is tossed to them, or trips over their feet trying to dodge the ball as it's being tossed to them. But they love to compete and they love to work out, and they might run up and down the court after the ball, but every time they get it, it's just a fumble. And you do get some really coordinated people that come to rowing. It's just not. It's not a requirement, and so I think that it's a good story that Sarah tells, that you sort of find what you're good at, and then and you sort of know what you're not. I know that if I had to sit in the outfield of a softball field or baseball field, I would like, please don't let it come back. But if you give me an oar and tell me to row my boat farther and faster than the next boat, absolutely.
All right. Excited about this opportunity ahead of you?
I am. I'm very excited.
Yeah. You find yourself in a position where it's no longer, while the dream is still there, but it's within your grasp. I mean, you can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. This last 7 days, as you prepare, I mean, while you talk about tapering, you're still going for it in terms of practice every day. Give me a sense of the mental attitude that you have and that the team has right now going into this last week before you go to nationals.
Well, right now we're all just trying to focus on like the ending goal. Like practices are tiring and we have 2 days, but really when it comes down to it, you just got to think of, why am I here? Like, why am I doing this? Why are the people behind me doing this, or like in front of me? And it just makes sense.
Based on knowing Mary, the short amount of time I have, and doing due diligence on her work ethic and her practice schedules, it would seem to me that the way you practice, the event itself when you get there is a heck of a lot easier than practice.
Give or take some. It's, the races are definitely a lot more stressful.
Yeah, emotionally stressful. Yeah.
And they're a lot more fun. But yeah, practices do help in that we do a lot of, they're called shadow runs. So we work on practicing our 2K races, but you chop it up. So you do like the first 500, pressure out, like all out. And then the next 500, you'll like take it light. So it makes like the 2K distance a lot less intimidating.
Well, you find yourself in this position. Some of the best schools in the country are going to be there, obviously. Give me your sense of how your team is preparing and moving forward. And is the reality of getting this there in front of you?
Is the reality of getting the championship?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we still have. Sarah's been incredibly successful this year. And as a team, we've had a lot of variables change within selection and just everyone knowing that the door is open to walk through at any moment. And so with going into the championship, I wouldn't say that we know what's going to happen. I think what the team does know is they're going to race their hearts out. And they're going to put everything that they've learned together and on the line to do their best on race day. And if they do that, then it's been a successful year. Where we end up in place-wise is going to be a testament to who's more race ready on any given Sunday.
Give us a visual now. Who's involved? How this works, especially for those novices who are listening and have been with us the last 5 or 6 weeks, and like myself, have really become interested in how all this works. Give us a sense of what we can expect and how it sets up.
Well, the championship is a 3-day event, and so there are races on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
In New Jersey?
In Princeton, New Jersey. And we're going to arrive a few days early and sort of get the travel out of our legs and bodies and start doing those last few things as far as mental preparation and team bonding. And then because the Division 1, 2, and 3 championships are all in the same weekend in the same place, it's an amazing event to be a part of. A lot of strong women that are just at the peak of their training. That it is the regatta of all regattas for women's rowing in this country at the collegiate level, and just fast boats and just fearless rowing, and it's not even like the cleanest rowing you've ever seen. It's not that glide on the glass water in the morning. It is drooling, snarling, like blades everywhere, water flying, and there's no sense of saying, oh, what a gorgeous boat that is. When they're racing all out, it's relentless, and it can be ugly at times, but it can be fast.
Yeah.
And so it's all of these women who have just trained their guts out through the year to have that opportunity to go down the course and just put together the best race they can, and it's something special to be a part of, that's for sure. I think Sarah, we didn't go into it, but Sarah last year was right in the mix. I don't know how it shook out her freshman year, but her sophomore year, right in the mix, and then had an injury that took her out from competing at the Nationals. So this is her year, and she's been working really hard this year to be fit enough and strong enough and take care of what she needed to have this opportunity. So I know it's going to be really special to her, and having her come on the show with us today was, to me, made a lot of sense. She's been moving boat. Like I said, she's sneaky in the sense that she can move a boat.
I wish you could see her this morning. And for those of you who want to take a peek later, we do stream this on our website, at Nova's website. But the smile on your face and the anticipation and the gleam in your eye, and this is after a practice, mind you. The excitement. I was going to ask you, how many shirts do you have in your chest of drawers for all the victories you had this year? Do you have to get a new chest of drawers?
Yeah, I have to start packing some away, retiring some. But I think Sierra's, I think we got like 6. Dad Rails, I think we got 3.
You got a lot.
Oh, and then Fierra's, I think we got like 4.
Yeah, somebody told me, one of the rowers told me that they couldn't even pack the bags after leaving an event.
I brought an extra one.
Yeah. Well, you have to be so proud of these girls and what they've been able to accomplish, right? I mean, you have to be just so beaming to see where they are and where they've come and how close you are to winning this thing.
I'm excited for us, for them, definitely, and proud. Yeah, there have definitely been moments where I think they've stepped out of their comfort zone in big enough ways that as a coach you get really proud when that's the case. I mean, effort is expected, right? You're expected to have effort, but it's that second level of commitment and being committed to taking care of those things that get in your way, to those weaknesses. Because everybody can bask in the glory of their strengths, but it's those athletes that take care of the things that hitch up their performance and become weaknesses or have the potential to be weaknesses. Those are the moments of pride that I find as when someone really stepped away from their comfort zone to be the best they could be.
Yeah, they say the mark of a champion is being able to get up once you've been knocked down, and that being knocked down is something that's hard to take sometimes, right, Sarah? It's tough to take. Thank you both very much. I have to ask you one question, because it just occurred to me. You said that, you know, it gets ugly and the oars are in the water and things are splashing and everything. How wet do you get?
Let's see. It kind of depends on what seat you're at. If you're at stroke seat, not too bad. If you're in bow, like I normally am, yeah.
You get pretty wet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you win this thing, are we gonna take coach and do something special? Like
throw her in the water.
Throw her in the water.
Throw her in the water. Like we just announced that.
We can announce that.
All right, it's official.
You ready?
They can try.
You know, I have to tell you, I have joked, we're going a little long in this segment, but I have to tell you, I have joked with Leanne Freeland, I have joked with all of the coaches about, you know, do they participate, okay? Do they, like, you know, get on the court? Do they get in the pool? Do they get on the course? All this stuff. But seriously, you know what would be fun? Get to talk to Mike Mommy about this. Getting some of us, and I'd be involved, coaches, and get on the water and you teach us how to row. I think that would be a blast.
We can make that happen.
That does sound like fun.
We can make that happen?
We can make that happen.
All right, we're going to make that happen. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sarah Patterson, our junior from Winter Park. She sits in the stroke seat for the 4 that's going to the national championship, and Mary Ellington, the coach, who has done just a magnificent job of getting these girls ready. We are excited for you. Welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap here at 6:40 a.m. I'll tell you what, I'm like the luckiest guy in the world. I had Mary Ellington the first segment. Now I have my favorite Leanne Freeland to my left here talking basketball. I know it's not basketball season, but we have a lot to talk about in terms of recruiting, and we're going to talk later about your basketball camp. You know, you had your first year, and we were talking to Mary, you talked about culture, talked about buy-in.
Right.
And now that you had an opportunity to review the season, and you had a season of ups and downs.
Right, very much.
Tell me your takeaway of the season and how you feel it went, and the areas where you believe you need to improve in terms of from a coaching standpoint.
Right. Well, first of all, you are exactly right. We certainly had some ups and downs. We were very inconsistent, in my opinion. We did fight buy-in throughout the season, and that's to be expected, especially with a sport like basketball, because there are so many different philosophies. And you know, but for the most part, I was really pleased with the progress our program made. We were 17-11 overall. The highlight of the season was beating the national champion, Shaw University, by a nice margin of 14 points throughout the season. And then we watched them win the national championship. So the great thing about that was
you beat the national champion.
We did. We did. And, you know, so it really spoke to what I was saying throughout the entire season. Ladies, we're not that far. You know, if we are able to improve this, or our team chemistry can improve a little bit here, then we have a real shot. Literally, we were probably 4 to 6 points away from an NCAA tournament bid. I mean, we lost a couple tight ones that would have, had we won, we would have had an opportunity. So the great thing about that is that the returners know. They can taste it. They can feel it. They know that they're right on, you know, the edge of something really great. And our postseason was phenomenal. And we had we have 6 returners plus Amanda Burakowski, who joined us in January, who hasn't played yet. But it was a phenomenal postseason. The energy, the buy-in, it was all there. It was amazing. And Coach Colham and myself are so excited to see this group continue to grow. And then with the addition of our 6 signees, I mean, I think the sky is the limit for this program. And that's why I wanted this job. I mean, it's an amazing place to recruit to. And I think the level of recruits that we have signed is really just a testament to just what NSU really does offer the student athlete here.
Before we talk about the signings, you know, with the deepest of respect, when a new coach comes in, you know, they're handed the keys to a house that has all the furniture, and the furniture, you gotta kind of live with that furniture.
Right.
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 So you need to be able to put your own furniture in.
Right.
So now you're getting to where you've got 6 signees coming in, you've got some girls leaving. Do you feel like you're getting to where you're getting the type of athlete that you want based on your belief of how the game should be played from your standpoint?
Right, yeah, definitely. I think that NSU is a place where, you know, we welcome diversity. We can recruit anyone from anywhere. If we're talking about just a different state in the United States, or if we're talking international. I mean, this is a place that, you know, I tell the recruits, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, this area is a place that people will save for an entire year or two just to visit for a week. And so it's a huge selling point for us. If we can find a recruit who has an adventurous spirit, then we can send them from anywhere. And I like that kind of person. I like the fearless person. I like the person who has confidence and can get away from the nest, so to speak. And we've definitely done a great job building the program in that direction. And the returners have done, like I said, a phenomenal job. They're a great group. They're extremely intelligent, and they're going to be really the important factor going into next year. I mean, our new recruits are very talented, but it's how our returners welcome them in and help them learn. That's going to be the key.
Culture.
Culture.
It's all
It
about
is.
culture. It's all
It
about creating that bond. It's creating that unity that you're looking for.
Right.
Let's talk about the signing.
Sure.
And when you look at the list and you can go through it, each player, what I found interesting, each player seemed to be a leader on their team.
Right.
So you're recruiting leaders.
Right.
You're recruiting players with confidence.
Right.
Not necessarily all from winning programs,
Right.
but leaders within their program and confident players.
Yeah. Well, actually,
But they are all from winning
I was
programs.
going to say.
No. I'm saying what
Yes, definitely from winning programs.
Yeah.
And we actually we look for players from winning programs because they know what it takes. They've obviously had great leadership and a coach that understands discipline and understands how to bring a team together. So there's a lot less work involved once they come to the college level if you recruit someone from a very successful high school program. When we first took the job down here, our number one goal was to get to know the best programs in South Florida. One of the best programs is across the street in Nova High School. And we were able to sign one of their best players, Khadijah Young, in the early signing period. And we had a chance to watch her throughout the season, and it was really fun. It's a great relationship we have built with her family and even the program at Nova. And we had a chance to see them advance to the state tournament. Unfortunately, they didn't win. To me, she just has some unfinished business that she can help us with here at NSU.
Right.
Exactly. But she was a great starting point because, again, to me, we have to recruit close to home first. We want to find the best and the brightest in South Florida. We want to keep them here. And Khadijah was a great start. Actually, if you go back one year, Danielle Robinson was really the first from South Broward High School. And we have our eye on numerous 2013 recruits right now here in South Florida. I'm not allowed to talk about that, but we do have our eye on some other local products, and that's always our goal first, to offer the players here locally, to give them an opportunity to stay close to home and help build this NSU program.
If I can interrupt you for a
Sure,
minute
of course.
and just kind of reflect on some history to give you some.
Yeah.
The University of Miami football program for many, many years
Oh,
had
yes.
kind of struggled for a while, and,
Right.
and we're not going to get into the whole litany of that, but
Right.
when Howard Schnellenberger arrived, and you're shaking your head, so you must know the history.
I just watched the 30-30 on the ESPN2. It was awesome.
His whole story was, we're keeping our players here in the state.
Right.
And he created his own state of Miami,
He did.
which was Dade, Broward, Monroe, Palm Beach, keeping them all here. And that's ultimately what led to the overall success in all those national championships at Miami.
Right.
You are starting from the same starting point. Not only do you keep them here because they're great athletes, but you also have the infrastructure of a fan base, which
Right.
is very smart.
It is.
And that's the way to go about doing it. And I think you'll find a lot more success that way.
Right, I agree 100%. And what we're finding is they are the total package here in South Florida. There are some myths out there about they're not great students or, whatever it may be. But what we found, Danielle Robinson right now is almost a 4.0 student, and is a phenomenal leader on and off the court. Khadijah Young is in the same mold as Danielle Robinson, and a few other players here that we have our eye on in 2013 are very, very similar. So again, I agree with you. I think it is important to build the program with your local products, and we are very fortunate. And South Florida has some great basketball. I mean, it's some of the, and I should say Southeast Florida, to be quite frank. I mean, the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area is phenomenal basketball.
The other signings that you've had, and I want to talk about too, our transfer from St. John's.
Yes,
that you were very high on.
Yes, actually, we'll talk about her next because I've kind of got, we do have a lot of signees, so I have them in chronological order of their signing or their commitments. So Amanda Burakowski did join us in January. She transferred from St. John's University and has really found herself here. She has not competed in a game yet, but she joined us in January, had an opportunity to start practicing in February after all the paperwork went through, and she is quite a player. I mean, she's a total package. She's about 5'11", 6 feet tall, and she can do everything. She's a great passer. She's a tremendous three-point shooter. That's what she's kind of known for. But at the Big East level, she wasn't able to really showcase all of her abilities. The Big East is, as you probably know, is like the top of women's basketball.
Yeah. It is the Big East.
It is the Big East for a reason. And but you know, at that level, you know, there were some athletes that kind of prevented her from being able to take people off the dribble or really defend well on the ball. So now she's really kind of finding herself again, you know, understanding, you know, what she can do at this level. And I think it's going to take a little time for her to really get comfortable, but hopefully not. I mean, I mean, she's just a phenomenal player, and she's a great teammate. And so that is, you know, a great combination. You know, the great teammate who's a phenomenal player. And we've been really, really fortunate to find a lot of players who have that package. So, yes, Amanda, do you have any specific questions about Amanda?
Well, I was going to ask one.
Yeah.
I did watch her practice.
Okay.
And there is a swagger about her. It's not a swagger that, you know, she walks around like, you know, look at me.
Not at all.
But it's this swagger of just, she looks like a basketball player.
Yes.
She walks like a basketball player.
Yeah.
When she walks on the court, it's like, I'm home.
Yeah, exactly.
She
finds herself on the floor.
Yeah.
She really does. And so, you know, when things didn't work out quite as well as she was hoping at St. John's, you know, it was kind of a transition year for her this past year. And when she got back on the floor, it was a special moment for her to find herself. And it was really a cool thing, and I'll share it with you. When she had first arrived, I got a phone call from her mom, which is never a great thing, typically from a coaching standpoint, to see that a mom had called.
Right.
But I thought, okay, well, I'll give her a ring back. Well, just to keep the story brief, she just said, I just want to thank you for giving her the opportunity to love the game again. And it was after the first practice.
How wonderful is
it
that?
It was great. You know, I was going into the
bring tears to your eyes.
It really did. And I was a little choked up because, you know, those are the moments as a coach that, you know, are kind of few and far between. But when it does occur, it just makes you feel like, this is why I'm doing this.
Right.
You know, to help someone like Amanda and hopefully some of our players really find their love in basketball.
Right. Well, I have to just kind of divert for a minute.
Sure.
You had a very successful career as a player yourself.
Yes.
Your coaches to you had to be, other than your parents, the most important people in your life.
They're pretty important.
They probably still are in some way.
Oh yeah, I'm still great. I'm actually friends with my previous coaches.
Well, think about where you're going to be 5 years from now with these players.
Oh yeah,
you
and
know?
it is important to me, and it's important for me to know that, you know, our graduating seniors feel like a part of the program. You know, I stressed the entire season that they are our recruits. You know, so anyway, but moving forward, yes, it is very important to build that kind of relationship. Some players need that bond more than others. Some of them need more direction in their life than others, and a lot of it does have to do with their background. But when Joanne Burakowski called me, I thought, you know what, this is a pretty special moment.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, one of those things
cool.
You're never going to forget.
Exactly.
All right, so who else do we have?
All right, Molly Blomer is going to be an incoming freshman. She is from Lakota East High School. up in Ohio. It's in the Cincinnati area. Their team is very successful in that area. It's a very respected league up there, and she brings a lot of leadership. She's going to be a computer science and engineering major, very smart, very skilled. So 5'11" forward. Do you want me to just go down the list here? Alexis Murphy is a 5'9". She was a point guard in high school. I don't really see her running a great amount of point here, but she's a 5'9" guard from Carlisle, Ohio. Again, skill. You know, we're looking at Midwestern skill. Taylor Bowie is a 5'5" point guard, coming from the state of Washington, and
long way away.
Long way away, but her dad is actually born in Florida, so we're kind of bringing the family back home. And,
very cool.
Yeah, and she's a very talented. She averaged 25 and a half a game, which is amazing for any position. Yeah. Taylor Jones, a transfer from Northwestern University, 5'11" point guard. She can play the 1 through the 5. So she's transferring in from the Big Ten with 1 year of eligibility. And then our last signee, Julia Samio, is a player from North Idaho College, a 6'1" forward, who again brings that versatility. Originally from Finland. So we're all over the place with our recruiting class.
You are a United Nations.
We are, and I love it. It's really exciting.
And you're not going to be with them now. NCAA rules prohibit you being with them. When do you start a practice as a team?
It will be late August. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be late August. So we've got a little time to relax and kind of enjoy it, but we're really, really excited. I invite everyone in the community out to support this team and all of our sports here, because we do have quite a package, as Tony and I talk about quite frequently. As we know, it's a great place.
Yeah, look, we've got 4 teams going right now.
I know.
I'm really hoping Mary comes through, and Amanda Brown with her women. I mean, you talk about being able to repeat again, and the pressure she has in golf, and the men looking to get there first, and Greg Brown's got his baseball team. They won a couple already, so it's an exciting time.
Oh, it really is. It really is.
But I know you're not sitting idle in an office just kind of coming up with plays, because we have summer coming up.
Yes.
And there's, every parent is looking to do something with their children. So tell me about the summer camp here at Nova that you and the coaches are running.
Yes, we actually have a summer basketball camp. We have 3 different options. Monday, June 18th through Thursday, June 21st, we have our day camp, and that's for grades 1 through 8. The cost is only $200, and it's very much a fundamental camp. Coach Colheim and myself are great teachers of the game. I love working with kids too, and that's actually my background. I have 2 degrees in education, so I love summer camp. It kind of takes me back home almost.
So it's going to be a full day of activities.
Yes.
You provide lunch. Is that how it works? Do they bring their own?
Yes, and it's mainly a skill camp. We have a weekend. That following weekend, we have our team camp, which is June 22nd through June 24th, and it's just for the high school and AAU teams. And the cost is $300. And then we have our elite camp, which is really giving us an opportunity to see the recruits as prospective student athletes in South Florida and the rest of Florida and the rest of the U.S. And that's June 25th through the 26th, and the cost is $100, and that's an all-day affair as well.
Very reasonably priced.
Thank you very much, Tony.
I'm serious. Awesome. When you look at summer camps around town, some of them can get a little pricey.
They really do, and we, especially because we're just starting, we want to make sure we bring people in, and it's going to be, I guarantee, for all you young players out there, you would learn so much from our camp, and we just welcome you in, and I guarantee you'll have the time of your life with the basketball in your hands.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there a web? Can you go on our web?
Yes, you can go to the NSU Women's Basketball page, and you can find the camp brochure. You can call our office, and we can mail you some brochures, and just love to have as many girls as we can.
Okay, it's the Nova Southeastern University NSU Sharks Hoop School Girls Basketball Camp. We're going to go through this again. The day camp from grades 1 through 8 is $200, Monday, June 18th through the 21st, 9 to 5, which includes a lot of fun and
a lot of high fives, a lot of smiles.
You hang with Leanne, you can't help but have fun. The team camp, that's high school and AAU teams. Athletes cost $300.
And that's for the team.
Right, the minimum of 5 games they play from Friday, June 22nd to Sunday, June 24th, so those are teams that are involved. And then the elite camp, grades 8 through 12, that's only $100, June 25th and Tuesday the 26th, 9 to 5. You can't beat it. best value in town, especially if your girls are playing basketball. I have a lot of friends whose girls play basketball, so I'm making sure they get these
Bring
flyers.
them on. Bring them on.
All right, Leanne Freeland, thank you so much. As always, great to have you.
Thank you, Tony.
We're gonna make sure we have to figure out a way to get her on every week, even in the off season, because she just brings so much to the table.
I would be here every week, and Brock knows this.
Yeah, Brock's our producer.
He
He did a
is.
great job. All right, we'll be right back on the Shark Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. Welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. Tony Segreto with you. Time to talk a little basketball again. We just had Leanne Freeland talking about the women. Now we have assistant men's basketball coach Brandon Crone, off-season workouts. A season that was probably a little disappointing. One that you probably had a few more expectations. Injuries, you lose a player completely. When the season starts, you have 3 players that are injured. Then you never kind of get traction that way.
Yeah, I think it was definitely an up and down season. I think you have to credit the guys for battling in there and still staying. I mean, there was a lot of reasons early on where they could have thrown in the towel and said, hey, we've battled injuries, we're not going to be good. But I think our seniors, Rob and Teddy, really kept the team strong and going. I mean, obviously it's not what we wanted. We were a 3-pointer away at St. Leo to tie and possibly upset them in overtime there. So. We battled through it. It was a little bit disappointing, but I think it's something to build on. The way our guys played hard, and again, like I know I heard you talk to Leanne of building that culture, and I think that's what we're really trying to do here. I think we really want to establish something, a winning program.
Right, and developing that culture, and again, it's hard. And you never want to use, and I've been around enough coaches that will always look you in the eye and go, we're never going to use injury as an excuse. And you don't. However, it's hard to get any kind of consistency when you can't have a lineup that you put out there on the floor every night that you play. How many times did you change your starting lineup?
I think it was a different one every night, to be honest. I think maybe at the end we kind of had 4 or 5 games with the same lineup. Some of that's due to injury, some of it was due to matchups. But you had Sean Mullen that goes down at West Georgia, who starts off the game with 5 points and hurts an ankle right away, and now we lose him for a week. You just had little things all the way throughout the season that just, like you said, it messes up your rotation. And sometimes people don't think about it. When you lose those guys, you lose them in practice. So now you're trying to go through going through plays. You're trying to scrimmage, and you can't get a real feel for who you're playing with because it changes every night. So you never develop that consistency, and that's kind of what we battled with all season.
And in any team sport, especially one that's moving at a rapid, it happens in baseball, it happens in football, certainly basketball. It's that trust factor, is being able to know what your teammate can do. And if your teammate changes all the time, even though he's your teammate, if you don't do enough repetition with him, you're not sure he's going to be at that spot on the floor when you need him.
Exactly right. And I think, we saw that. Some guys, 2 games in a row had great games, played together well, a little injury, and now they're fighting to get back in the starting lineup, and we bring in a new guy at the 3. If you look, we changed, Justin Jean Gerard played the 3, 2, 1. He played 3 positions for us as a freshman.
Right.
Before he gets hurt, he goes and hurts his MCL, and had surgery in the off season with that. So, it was a constant battle. But again, I just have to give the team credit because we do. We're 1 game from 500, and they never gave up, and we were right there to the end.
Let's talk about off season now. I know you can't talk about specific recruits because of NCAA restrictions, but off season workouts. How are they going? And I know Gary, and speaking with him the last we spoke, very excited about the opportunity of some of the players that you were looking to recruit and bring here to NSU.
Oh yeah, the off season we had about 4 weeks of the guys coming in, and they worked really hard. We really tried to improve some ball handling and just basic things that I don't think we've gotten in the past. So we spent a lot of time on that, and the guys had a great effort. I think I also have to credit Steve Orris. He's really brought a sense of toughness to these guys.
Strength and conditioning coach.
Strength conditioning coach for us. He's really instilled in these guys a work ethic. And they were really busting it in the weight room. And we got to replace. We're bringing in 4 or 5 guys. So it's going to be possibly a whole new look to us again next season. But one we're really excited about on the guys we're kind of pursuing right now.
Leanne was saying how it's been a pleasure for her to be here in 1 year to recruit here, and it has to be the same for the men to be able to recruit on this campus, an area that a lot of people want to come to. And I know that Gary and you like to go international as well as the continental United States.
Yeah, we're all over. We want the best players like anyone does, and we can go to Finland, we can go to Europe, Australia. Obviously, we've done that in the past. So, this place sells itself. I mean, everyone says that, and it's true. We get recruits, and we have once we get them here, we don't lose too many, unless they pick home or something. But once you get them here, I mean, the amenities and the facilities, and I mean, it's a top-notch program. And I think our players see that, and and it's a huge selling point.
When you talk to a player, and I'm sure you compete with players who are thinking about D1, how does that play?
Well, normally we're competing with the lower D1s, and it plays a role because they don't get to know the dream of March Madness. But a lot of the lower D1s aren't making it anyway. And so I think it plays a little bit of a role, but I mean, once you get them on campus, I mean, we have a nicer weight room than 150 D1 schools. I mean, I'll put money on that.
Yeah. Certainly at Butler, right?
Yeah, I mean, they put us in a little closet down there. Now with them going the A10, I bet they've updated quite a few things since I played there. But the arena, I mean, the arena sells itself. The weight room sells itself. I mean, this is a really nice university.
The weather sells itself.
Oh yeah, I mean, weather.
The
vacation.
campus sells itself.
I mean, it's a great place to come play basketball for 4, 3, 2 years, whatever you have left when we're recruiting you.
Right. You have to be excited about this upcoming season.
Oh, I'm very excited. I mean, like I said, I think we're pursuing some really good guys. We got a good core coming back of guys that want to win. And heck, I was getting my feet wet last year, so as an assistant, to really kind of come
your
in
first year,
and try to put a little imprint of possibly mine in there is very exciting. I know Coach Toole and I are anxious. I mean, we wish it was October 15th and we're on the court. I mean, what's this summer stuff anyway?
Yeah. So. Well, let's talk. We talked with Leanne. I know that you all have a summer camp coming up. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we have a summer. It's July 16th through the 19th. It's a 4-day individual skill camp, basically run by Marquise Kiffin, who's an assistant coach with us, and myself. Excuse me. It goes 9 to 4. It's focusing a lot on again, ball handling, shooting, defensive. It's a total skills package.
All here at the arena.
Yep, all here at the arena.
And what's the ages?
It starts we're going first grade till senior. So it'll be a wide range. We're hoping to get good numbers so we can kind of separate. And obviously, you don't have the 12th grader going against first grader. Although first grader might get good.
That's right. That's an old Seinfeld episode with Kramer in karate class. What's the price?
The price is $225. We also have a discount if you're an SU employee. Also discount if you're at the Cooper City Optimist. And then the next week is July 23rd through the 25th. And at the same time, 9 to 4, and that's a shooting camp. So we're focused 3 days of proper technique of shooting, and really focusing on getting the shot. I think that's something that's not taught too well. Coaches oftentimes don't have time to break it down, and you see guys at the free throw line with their legs out or two-handed shots. So we're really focusing on shot preparation during that camp.
And then so those are the 2 camps you have?
Yes, yep. Those are the only 2 camps we have. It's tough to book this arena. Everyone wants in it.
I know. It's such a great place. Well, not to mention there's graduation going on and concerts going on.
They do a lot. They do a lot in this thing, but it's nice. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it sure is. Hey, listen. Before I let you go, what do you think about the NBA and what's going on with the playoffs here locally? Any thoughts, or do you not want to stick your neck out on that one?
I'll stick my neck out. I mean, I'm from Indianapolis. I'm from Indiana, so I mean that's some team basketball right now. That's showing through. I mean, obviously it was a huge loss for Bosch. And right now I just think the Heat are playing too individual. Wade and LeBron, they really have to step it up. But hey, like I said, I'm from Indiana, so if they win, I remember 2000 watching outside Conseco Fieldhouse trying to beat the Lakers with Reggie.
Yeah.
So I know I'm probably one of the few down here that's okay with the Pacers taking this one.
All right, Brandon Crow, the assistant men's basketball coach here at Nova Southeastern University. Once again, for those of you who want more information on the boys basketball camp that that Brandon's going to be running along with the other coaches here at NSU. Just go to the NSU website, go to the men's basketball page. You'll find out all the information. It's going to be a great time, great facility here. Your son will have an absolute fabulous opportunity to be with some really good college coaches, and of course Brandon has that great pedigree of having been to the Final Four with Butler and having that experience with March Madness. So he can ask a lot of questions and be a part of something really special. Brandon, thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Good to have you. Shark Sports Wrap here at 6:40 a.m. Tony Segreto with you. Time to finish up our show, talk a little track and field. Brian Hagopian is with us, the head coach. Finished the season. Give us an overall look at how the season went. What you think?
Well, the season was a little interesting. We lost a couple key athletes last year, and I didn't know how big of a key athletes they were until the end of this year, and you're like, wow. But we had a great showing. We're a very young team still. Programs hasn't been around very long, so the athletes are starting to mature. You can see it; they're starting to mature. They still make mistakes, so we're learning. It's a very big learning process. But they're looking really good. I mean, we're competing against a lot of Division I schools. Last week we were at Georgia Tech, where I'd say there were about 2,000 athletes. Out of the 2,000, I'd say at least 1,500 were Division I athletes, and out of that 1,500, I'd say maybe 500 of them were Olympic qualifiers. We're trying to qualify for the Olympics as well as nationals. So it's good competition. Our men and women stepped up to the plate. They ran their best PRs, but just came a little short this year.
You know, you have the biggest team of any coach here on campus in terms of numbers. Tell us about managing that.
Looks like a chess game. It's really interesting. We have different groups set up.
How many do you have total? How many total?
We have total right now. We have 62.
Right. Which is almost double of the largest team here.
Yeah.
Which is probably Mary. The rowing team probably has the most, right?
Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you're almost double that. So go ahead.
And what we do is we have basically different groups set up at different places. The distance runners run in lanes 1, 2, and 3, while our sprinters are in lanes 4, 5, and 6. Our throwers are over by the throw section. The jumpers are by the long jump, triple jump boards. The pole vaulters are over by the pole vault section, and well, my sprints coach, Unique Booth, Coach Booth, she's with the sprinters and the hurdlers, so she's got her group that she's working with. Coach Strange is with the mid-distance and long sprinters. And then there's me that's going from pole vault to the throws, over to the distance runners, and just kind of make a big circle. And then we have a couple volunteer coaches that come out and help once in a while. And so it kind of relieves us once in a while, but again, they're volunteers, so you know, they have other jobs and other responsibilities, so we use them as best we can. And then we have a certain time frame on top of all that where we have the track from 7 to 9 over at Miramar, Innocent Track and Field Complex, so we have a time frame to deal with too, so we don't get everything we want to accomplish in that 2 hours.
Now add the component of the classroom.
Yeah. That's it.
and that's what's critical, because one of the things here about Nova is they really are student athletes, and everybody's, you know, I know Mike Momini and from the athletic director on down, it's all about making sure that GPA stands up, and that's a challenge when you have that many to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it is a challenge, and the real bad part about it is because that's the only time we got practice at 7 in the morning, and a lot of these student athletes are staying up late. You know, they're taking classes like marine biology.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing an awesome job with these students. They really are. So go ahead and continue.
And so they're staying up late studying, doing papers, doing science projects and stuff, and anything else that they're going on with these. And so they're coming to practice exhausted from, you know, maybe getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep. So they're working hard. There's no question about it. So when they see that they're a track and field athlete or cross country athlete, they definitely put in the times to, you know, it should definitely get looked at really hard.
Tell us about recruiting.
Recruiting is doing great. We're pretty much wrapping up on our recruiting. Since we've had such good success, we've had athletes that want to transfer from Division I all the way down to the NAIA schools. We signed all our big guns this year, and I still have athletes from Europe, Australia that still want to come over here, Jamaica, the Bahamas. And I'm actually have to tell them I can't because I can't afford them. I just don't have any more scholarship money. Our cross country team next year's team is by far probably the best team I've ever coached here. If they do everything they're supposed to do, with everybody coming in. We have Mario from Arizona Community College is coming in. He's going to help our guys team out a lot. Ross Williams, who's a freshman from California, runs a 14:56, and so he's coming in. So he's going to help us. And on the women's side, we have a transfer in from University of Arkansas, Little Rock. Her name is Shannon Silverman. She's coming in, so she's going to help us. We have there's another women athlete from Australia.
So a lot of good things happening.
Oh, there's great things happening.
You have to be excited.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of this track and field, one of those sports where, especially down here in South Florida, because you can train all year round, like in baseball, like in tennis. Yeah, it's one of those things where you would, this could and should be the hotbed of the track and field athlete, especially those who want to train, go to that big level of Olympic qualifier.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we mostly do. We keep our recruiting in-house, basically. We stay in Florida. The only times when we venture out is if we're looking for distance runners. And the reason why we look at Arizona and California and Colorado is because they're high altitude athletes. So we bring them down to a low altitude. They're going to run a lot faster, but they are having. So that's why I tend to more recruit on the distance side, a little bit more out of state, and then stay in state with my track and field program.
All right, Brian Hagopian, thank you so much. It's good to have you. I know that you're looking forward to next year, and you got just listening to you. It's exciting to see the recruits and hear about the recruits that you have coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on Shark Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. Tony Segreto with you. We hope you enjoy us every Saturday morning. Keep in mind, NSU athletics is really something that's growing and growing fast. And also, as we told you at the top of the show, we have 4 teams here at NSU that are now vying for national champions. We have 2 in golf, both the men and the women, baseball at the NCAA regionals, and of course, we talked about the rowing team, Mary Ellington. They're going up with a real good shot at coming home with the national championship. So all of us here at Nova Southeastern University, we thank you once again for joining us here on 640 AM. I'm Tony Segreto. We'll see you back here next week.